So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
Girl, what's the tea?
So Auntieways. So Auntieways. So Auntieways.
Hiding in a bathroom.
Hiding in a bathroom and then jumping
like
out
four
at
stops.
I slip and walking to Miss Linda's apartment.
Because we were so dead ass broke.
So broke, so tired, so sunburned.
Yeah, that we and finally.
And look at you now.
Look
at us now,
honey,
darling.
we've got our little. We are in the Steam Room Live Broadcast Center.
Yes,
We are.
we
We are the glitterati, as they say.
The cutting edge.
The cutting
Yes.
edge, darling. The
We're
dull
the glitterati.
Yes,
The glitterati.
the clitorati.
Glitterati. Ew, that's disgusting. What
I
is
like the lesbian media mafias, the clitorati.
the glitterati?
Yes, darling.
Yes.
Welcome to-
Just wanted to mention one other bar from back in the day that we didn't go to often, but we went to here and there, and I remember having a really good time at. But I feel like this place might have been. Oh, where was Feathers? Was Feathers headed toward
That
Jersey?
was New Jersey.
That was Jersey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember having a good time at Feathers. Does anyone remember Feathers?
We all went over there and saw Miss International Crisis at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, Feathers in
Yes.
Jersey. Yeah. No. That was on the other side of the river, darling, not the classy side, darling. So, welcome to So Auntieways. I am Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
This is Booby.
That sure is. And this is So Auntieways, where we're going to get into what we're featuring, what we don't see, and a little bit more of the taste of ooh la la. How y'all bitches doing?
Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
What you drinking?
I believe this is called an apricot Bellini.
Ah,
And because I'm sipping my cocktail with a straw, that's class.
I had a Rehab Monster just a moment ago. It was
Oh,
raspberry.
dating again?
Trust.
Yeah.
Yes. Had to send another Monster to rehab.
Yes. girl.
I had a Rehab Monster, that is my pregame for every show. Is I have a
Right.
raspberry Rehab Monster.
I love that Prince song. Booby, what does your preparation entail?
I was actually about to go to the kitchen and get a Red Bull, but I'm going to stay here, I think.
Go get a Red Bull, because you know
Go
what?
get a Red Bull,
you're,
girl.
You're sleepy and tired. I mean, you could use a little pick-me-up. Can she hear us? Matinga, I didn't excuse you.
Oh, here.
And this one flips me the bird. You know what? Trying to keep it together. I can see that Monster Rehab, but the people listening show enough can't. Do you want to describe the tantalizing
There's
taste?
some people watching in the room. Well, it has like some weird symbolism on the front
Yes.
that is supposedly tied into like the whole Da Vinci Code. And so supposedly it is. Like it's
Really?
Yeah, no. Like go online and Google the monster symbol.
I won't be doing that.
And it does have something to do
Satanistic or
Yeah, it has something to do with Satan and the Da Vinci Code.
yeah.
And, and giving you energy, but from the
I saw
wrong
that.
base. And yeah, and like, but it has some deep shit going on,
Very
like
QAnon.
something to do with Hebrew and
Oh, not those
weirdness.
Hebrews and their space lasers.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Well, all right. Well, okay. So you've got your Red Bull, you've got your Monster. I've got my apricot Bellini. My
So I just want
Bellini.
to mention, just real quick, right at the top here, that if you are a fan and if you love either watching or listening to our content, please take a moment now and like and subscribe. Make sure that you are still subscribed if you subscribed in the past, as it really does help out our metric.
Yes.
And there's merch at Teespring that Miss Thing over here is wearing.
I don't like the way that you said that. All right.
Thing.
Miss
Okay.
He's a thing.
So I am a thing, darling. I'm a noun. Yes, I've got my So Auntieways t-shirt, which I dried kind of funny on a hanger, so my shoulders have points. My
Okay,
shoulders have perts, darling. Yes, I'm very much Joan. So let's start getting into it, okay? Let's start with girl. What are you featuring? Who wants to start? I'll kick it off. Okay. What I'm featuring this episode is a book called Breath by James Nestor. It's the new science of a lost art. It's about breathing, and ironically enough, I can't breathe today because of allergies. But the book Breath by James Nestor, it's really good. It's about breathing through your nose is healthier for you than breathing through your mouth. And most of us are mouth breathers.
Right.
But
Yeah.
breathing through your mouth fucks up your dentistry, fucks up your breathing capacity. and so on and so forth. And there's things about relaxation in it, and there's some deeper shit about getting into the kundalini and carbon dioxide control. That part's a little past me, but it has gotten me into the habit of breathing through my nose, breathing slowly, and chewing more with my back teeth.
Well, when I want to go to sleep at night,
Mm-hmm.
like really go to sleep, I concentrate by breathing through my nose.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to breathing through my mouth, and when I start breathing through my nose, I know there's a little point in my head where I'm like, okay, I'm about to fall out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's how we fall out, is we breathe through our noses.
Yeah, and you have to breathe through your nose because you've got your husband's big old dick in your mouth choking you, bitch. That's what the kids come for. Or is he just stuffing that baby Yoda doll down your throat? Who knows?
That's true.
Yeah.
You want this baby Yoda?
You want
this baby Yoda? You better eat this baby Yoda.
You want the child?
The child.
You're gonna take that Grogu, bitch.
Take that Grogu.
Well, that's what I'm featuring, a book called Breath by James Nestor. Who'd like to go next?
Well, I think that breathing through the nose, would probably be a cool option if only I hadn't done all that coke. And and now there's just one orifice. You've got like this little line here, but it's just like sometimes like a big breeze comes by, and I just like inflate and fly away.
You're just like parasailing.
Yeah, so that's unfortunately that doesn't work. I chew with my back teeth if I had any left, certainly.
You should
But
have.
that doesn't help me.
It doesn't, but it's a good book. Well, girl, what are you featuring this week, my darling?
Well, what I'm featuring this week is, because we were actually talking a little bit before the show, we were talking about SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And I've definitely having that midwinter moment of, I'm sleeping okay, but like I'm having trouble motivating, and I could definitely use, a little bit more light. So one of the things that two things that I absolutely am featuring this week are season 13 and season 2 of Drag Race, season 2 of UK Drag Race, and season 13 of Drag Race. And I'll tell you why. Drag Race comes along at that point of the year where you just want something bitchy, candy-colored, light, because it is light fare, and fun to, just to like brighten up your week, to keep you la la, to cut up with your sisters after and be like, oh, honey, Miss Taste is tired. Miss Bimini Bamboulash, Miss Simone is turning it with her fucking do-rag.
Bimini Bamboulash is the one that's kind of hoish, right?
She's the one that doesn't wear any clothing, really.
Right.
Also, like, you could see her tape, like, on that first episode, you could see her tape.
And her testicles.
Yeah, and that left nut was going to pop, like, the entire time she had her hands down there.
Right.
And also one other weird thing that's happening is because UK is on, I watch it on Thursdays, and then regular Drag Race is on Fridays. I just feel like I'm watching one giant cast of Drag Race, like one Drag Race. It's just one gigantic cast, and I keep on mixing up like which, I'll be like, oh yes, Miss Honey Simone and Taste last night were fabulous.
Right.
Hey, they're on two different shows.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly endorse what you're featuring because I'm also watching them. I'm enjoying the UK version more. Although this week's Untucked of season 13 was it was popping.
Tamisha was totally right. That's all I got to say.
Yes and no.
Shit, but have you noticed she's got no neck?
She has no neck.
No, she doesn't.
She's got no neck, ladies.
But she's been doing this for 30 years. It's worn away.
That's why I just ground the neck. It's beautiful, old school. But where's the neck?
She's recovering from cancer, and that is a known side effect of chemo. Is your neck disappears? It's true.
I loved her little, pink ensemble. That's looking up with her train, looking absolutely beautiful. What I will say, I love Candy, but this is the same thing that I do love Candy, but I think that she has a super inflated
everything about is inflated
ego. And in her head, she's much more fierce than
honey. She's not fierce. She's just loud.
Know your place, earn your spot.
Thank you.
Know your place, earn your spot. And She has not earned her place yet. And you know, I do love a big girl that loves to show body and she's got tons of confidence, and I live. But what she did during Untucked, that's ghetto, and it makes you look bad in front of the industry.
Yeah.
People only, it doesn't matter how good you are, people only remember, was it easy to work with you? Are you easy to work with? Are you a professional?
You better show up on time with a big smile. Be on time with a big smile.
And be prepared and be a pro and don't cause any trouble. And because, you know, that's what people will remember as you're walking out the door, and that's what gets you more gigs. It's just, it was ghetto and ugly. But
it was ghetto. I was living. It was so entertaining. Yeah.
Yes.
But
I lived for the retorts that Tamisha was coming back.
Oh, honey, because that's a man. That he's got grown ass children.
Little lady.
Tamisha's not the one.
Tamisha's not the one, honey.
No. Well, so look, and the reason I say yes and no that Tamisha was right is that yes, Candy was being obnoxious and pushing buttons and
arrogant,
and Tamisha, I know you're feeling some kind of way, but don't walk into the conversation and be like, you know, I don't really care for some of you girls,
some of y'all,
but because that's just sparking it up further. Now, I love that she didn't back down. Because she's not
at all.
And to give Candy credit, her hairstyle was cute, with the little pom poms and things, her little schoolgirl look. Yeah. But she's loud, she's trashy, she's ignorant, she's rude, and nothing she's done has blown me away in any way.
I don't feel her because she talks really fast. I don't know if you understand how she talks when she talks really fast. I don't feel her.
And I feel that she was bullying the other girls. Like they're all sitting.
Do you think I'm arrogant? Do you think I'm arrogant?
Right. So it's like, nah, that's not cute.
But also, you know what? Know who you are and have a picture of what you're putting out into the universe.
Right.
Like a lot of very smart queens on that show have said they cannot give me a villain edit if I do not give them a villain edit.
Right.
They only have what you give them.
But here's the thing. We're talking about her. So mission accomplished as far as they see.
Right. And maybe she wants the villain edit.
Maybe
she's fine with the villain.
She better be careful. If some queen popped off at me like that back in the day, I'll break a bottle over her head. So she better be careful.
The true villain of the week was La La Ree with that paper bag nonsense.
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen something so bad on RuPaul's Drag?
Trixie Mattel and Violet Chachki were reading her and the pit stop, which is Trixie Mattel's recap show of
whatever. I love the pit stop.
Fierce and Violet Chachki went all in.
But can I tell you, if I had to pick one of those three, Trixie or Violet or La La Ree to see a show, I'd pick La La Ree because I do find her entertaining.
Yeah, she was entertaining.
Yeah,
kind of the fact that she pulled it off.
Yeah,
considering how bad her outfit was.
Yeah,
but I do want to mention on last week's pit stop, it was Trixie and Jada Essence Hall. And when Jada Essence Hall is talking about Tamisha Iman, it reminds me of Crystal LaBeija, because she's like, honey, you know, when you pull out that Neapolitan and you got that deep dark chocolate and that lovely, and then you pull that lovely strawberry, darling, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that, darling. I was like, yes, Mama, yes.
So it is entertaining. Drag Race is very entertaining.
And it's like the little ray of sunshine aside from you two lovely ladies and all the people listening of my week.
Yes. Booby, what are you featuring this go
I am
round?
featuring again a political action from our current president by reversing the trans ban in the military. I love that he did that so quickly.
The military has a trans band? They better work, honey. I haven't been to a rave. Ooh, child. Go ahead.
That was it. I was just very proud that our president had seen, just reversed it like that, like it was nothing.
But gag, I think it's beautiful that he's doing this with all these. What do you call those? Those are executive orders,
right?
But already, like the Republicans are trying to talk trash and say, "Oh, I guess he won. I thought he was going to unite, but he's doing all these executive orders, blah blah blah." But that's exactly what every president does.
Every president.
Yeah, they do their little executive orders, and also he ran saying that he was going to overturn all these things. Like, I mean, honey, the Republicans are just. They're just too much, girl. They're too much.
Every incoming administration does this. It's basically like saging a house that you move into.
Right.
to get every administration does that. And I will say, and I've said this before, I think the military should be all trans. Okay.
Thank you.
Those bitches will fuck you up, honey. If we had an all tranny military, girl, mission
Tranny?
accomplished. Yeah, I said tranny. What about it?
Isn't there an all trans band that does Christmas Trans Siberian Express?
Yeah, the disco
Isn't that
band.
an all trans
And I
band?
used the word tranny. So little girl, booby, little girl,
Little lady.
little lady.
Little lady.
Okay, well, I think that's a wonderful choice as well. So we have a book, we have some television, and we have some political theater. It's for the ripening, darling. Let's get into, bitch, I don't see that. And I'm going to start again.
Please do.
Because I'm speaking. I'm just going to lay it low, honey. Winter, I'm done. Enough. As we're recording this, there is a nor'easter ahead in this way in the northeast.
Mm-hmm.
And where I am, honey, we're going to get like 2 feet of fucking snow. And
Yeah.
I'm gasping. I made sure to go to the store earlier, honey, get my Prosecco, my chocolate, and my potato chips so that if I can't leave the house for 2 days, girl, I'm all right.
Girl, so all you're going to eat is potato chips and Prosecco for the next 2 days?
No, I also have popcorn and cottage cheese.
You know what?
And cookies. I got chocolate chip cookies too. And coffee, for God's sake.
Well, that'll get you through. That'll get you through.
In 2 days, I can shovel my way out, as I've said on many a date.
I'm sure.
Honey, you know that I'm a fisting queen. I've said that on many a date.
So,
Girl, I can't see the sky.
I can't see it. And then the wind comes and boof blows you away again. Yeah, so I'm not feeling. Look, but on the bright side, February 3rd is the actual crux, the midpoint of winter. So from that point onward, we're closer to spring than.
Is that called the solstice or
the equinox is March and September. The solstice is December and June. So it's just, for me, it's just a halfway point between the beginning of winter and the end. So, and the days are getting a little bit longer.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yes, there's some shade in the comments, but we're going to ignore that for the moment. But I'm going to get to y'all hoes at the end. Matinga, what are you not seeing?
So what I am not featuring this week is the slow rollout of the vaccines. And I just want to say that I don't blame the Biden administration because as it turns out, the previous administration did not have a plan and they left no reserves of vaccine. There literally was no plan for the rollout. And there was
rollout the barrel.
And there was no. And
do you know that song is about beer? Anyway,
Yes.
roll out the barrel. Yeah.
Had no idea.
Also, a bunghole is the
Where
little
the beer
hole.
comes out.
Yeah, is a bunghole in a giant barrel. Is that the bunghole is where you put the cork and you pull the cork out to like get the beer, and then you put the cork back in. That little hole is the bunghole.
That's a lie.
No, that's true.
It is.
That's a
It's
lie.
true.
Yeah, it's completely true.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know this because in Salem there is a liquor store called the Bunghole that I have visited on occasion.
Because
also,
you're a witch.
and I have a picture in front of it. Yes, blessed be my child. So I think that Biden is, trying to do his relief package and get more vaccines on deck. But, these things have to be created. They have to, it takes time. And, I feel very blessed that my mom, who is a cancer survivor and in her 70s, has been able to get her vaccine. And my sister, who is a teacher and a frontline worker, was able to get her vaccines. But for me, it's going to be, not that I'm like, why me? Right. But it would be, I would feel freer. I'm a guy in my 50s with heart disease and high blood pressure and, diabetes.
And gout and fallopian tube problems.
And early onset of
dementia.
Arthritis. Yesterday my colon fell out, but it does on occasion. I just stuck it back in. But it's going to be like, it's going to be like June or July, or August for me. And so, it's that anticipation of like, I'll feel safe enough to go out and, have dinner with friends, and after 2 months in, it's oppressive. It is what it is. You got to do being responsible citizens here. But so the slow rollout of the vaccines got me, it's got me blue, girl.
So okay, so you
Like,
prolapse
literally,
in blue.
my prolapse turned blue. It was,
Well, if you're cleaning house and you don't happen to have a Swiffer
yeah,
and you're prolapsing,
yes, honey.
God gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Honey, you
Just
dust off those windowsills,
Me
girl.
squatting lowly across the floor,
Bitch.
just running around.
Honey, have I shown you my Swiffer?
Honey,
Okay,
like Roomba.
Miss Booby, what are you not featuring?
It's kind of gross.
Grosser than that?
Intestinal parasites,
His
particularly
name is
with
Bob and you love him.
leave him be, blessed be.
Blessed
Um,
be.
All right, go
My
ahead.
cat has got probably has worms, and so I'm going to deworm him. It's not an issue at all, but that's my pet peeve for the week is intestinal worms. And why did God make intestinal worms?
Because all God's children need traveling shoes.
Right. That's right.
That's a Maya Angelou book, right?
Yeah,
Because darling, we're all part of a big, macrocosm.
the circle of life.
The human body is 90% bacteria, and in Matinga's case, 95. So, what is a human being really?
Honey, I think you'd be much more pressed if you were the one with internal parasites. Just
Thank
kidding.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, damn, girl.
Because we know bitches that have had that.
Oh God, yes.
We're not
The
going to
white
name
worm.
names. The white worm. We're not going to name names, but it laid a bitch low for a couple of years. Nobody here in this room or in this chat,
No,
and we're not going to name his name.
we had better.
Look
not
at Tinga getting all nervous. No, girl, I'm not.
It's not, but it's not anyone in this room.
No, it's not anyone in this room or anyone in this chat. So, well, Booby, you know how to deworm a cat.
Yes.
It's very easy. You just
Yes.
put on a glove.
I'm going to deworm.
You got
all
some
three of
olive
them.
oil. Huh? What?
I can't just deworm one. I have to do all three.
Well, fair is fair. You don't want
Wait a
one
minute,
to
what's
go
the olive oil for?
to get the worms out, bitch. They're not just going to come out.
You got to pull them out one at a time.
You got to pull them out one at a time.
Oh,
girl.
you're such a liar. That's like that myth of getting a myth of getting a tapeworm and you're going to lose weight. You do not lose weight. Damn it.
Oh, no, but your stomach hurts. I actually did look into getting one of those. I called them Kirstie Alley worms because she did actually try that, and I actually hate her. But they don't work. They just
Did
make
you
me
used
sick.
to like Kirstie Alley at one point?
I did. I liked Fat
Until-
Actress until she went fucking nuts.
Yeah, she lost it.
Who, Kirstie?
She lost. Yeah.
She
Miss-
was
Politically,
Really?
she lost it.
she's
Miss-
lost it, unfortunately, but she was beautiful, honey.
Yes, she
Miss-
was.
Miss
She was in Star
Thirsty
Trek.
Alley. Yeah, she
Those
was in Star
eyes.
Trek.
Beautiful, beautiful eyes.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
this movie with another crazy Republican, the one who
John
plays the one with the mustache, very handsome.
B. Arthur.
Was he Magnum PI?
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. They made a sci-fi film. I think it was called Trancers, about these little robots that run around. Anyway, Kirstie Alley was at her most beautiful in that movie. She looks so fucking gorgeous.
But here's the thing: Kirstie Alley is in the cult of Scientology.
Is
So-
she?
Oh yeah.
Big time.
So
big
that's
time.
where
time.
her and John Travolta.
Or maybe they were both sucking the same dick in a park one day. Who knows?
Okay.
Could be.
Okay.
Okay.
When I was in LA once, I went into the Scientology Museum, which is on Hollywood Boulevard, I think. Just I was bored, whatever. And of course, they don't say it's a Scientology museum. It's like the Museum of Psychoanalytic Torture. And I was like, oh, sign me up. So I did the little tour, and it had pictures of Francis Farmer and all these supposedly hideous things that the psychiatric profession does. And at the end, they try to sign you up and do your Dianetic thing. And I was like, child, please, Tigress, please. I'm out. I just needed to kill 30 minutes, But anyway,
So, like you killed a week and a half being a Moonie.
it was a week, and I never actually was a Moonie. It was a week.
But you told me that you shakabuku'd someone.
Oh, I shakabuku love you, darling. I had to go onsen.
Shakabuku'd someone.
Honey,
Yes.
I had to go. I was all shari haju chicken, all of it, darling.
Yes.
I
Naraji
don't
chicken was shari.
understand what you're talking about.
Oh, I was briefly in a cult. Anyway.
Yes, she was. Later, she
was.
told me she was just doing it for the free breakfast. I was like, girl, you're much too cheap a date.
But they kept coming
You are-
around,
yeah.
leaving apples at our door until finally my roommate, Miss Laura, the cunny girl, she was dating this guy that we call Caveman, who was a coke dealer, and he had one testicle, apropos of nothing. Honey, he went to the door in her kimono. He said, "You come around here again, I'm gonna snap your fucking neck." They never came back again. Also, I think he tried to seduce me in the laundry room.
Who are
And
they?
The Moonies.
Oh, well, they were
The cult of Moonies.
they were an illegitimate form of Buddhism. They wasn't really. I mean, we did like Nam
Yeah.
Myoho Renge Kyo, but it was really some bullshit. It was a
Then you
cult.
threw your go onsen out the window. That's like throwing your life out the window, by the way.
I
Well,
got
you threw it
my
out the
life.
door. You threw it out the front door.
Bitch, whatever. Honey, I came back to New York with a blonde man in tow.
Yes, you did.
I sure enough
Not a
did,
particularly high grade blonde man,
but he
but
was
a
blonde.
blonde man. Yes, he
Little bit
was.
A little bit of a princess tiny meat, to be perfectly honest with you.
Bottle blonde.
But did he have two
I'm
testicles?
pretty sure.
He did have two testicles. Honey, we just showed up at my Zell's door in fucking Park Slope. Hey, girl. Can we stay here, girl?
back in the day.
And she said yes.
Oh,
It was her and Ricky and Raymond living together at that point.
You know what? That was that you, Ricky, Raymond, and Mizell up in the same apartment.
It was crazy.
Wait a minute. Didn't you?
Raymond.
Threw a party,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Then you
Raymond
threw a
up.
party where we tricked Martin into doing fake cocaine.
It was Sweet Low. She came out of the bathroom like, oh my God, that was so good.
God,
It's
it
like,
was so good.
That's not the same bitch that was there. I'll always love.
no. Miss Glamour
Oh.
Queen?
Oh.
No.
Oh, Robert.
No,
Queen.
that was the meanest thing I've ever done. And I don't want
It
to.
was among the meanest things you've ever done.
I humiliated another human being.
Yes, you did.
Just for the sake of what?
Laughter.
For laughter. For laughs.
And not only for
Guilty.
my own laughter, but for the laughter of my piece and my
Yeah,
friend
Matinga.
and his piece. No, Matinga wasn't there at that point. She had
No,
left.
I had left earlier. And by the way, God's honest truth, I would not have allowed it to happen.
You're so full of shit.
I would
honey.
not have allowed it to
Oh,
happen.
you're so full of shit.
No. Or you know what? I would have been like, yo, I'm out. I'm out.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit around for this.
You were out. You was gone. But
Yeah,
we needed
yeah.
we needed entertainment. It was New Year's Day. We had been awake for 20 hours. We needed something to do.
So
Why
wait a
not
minute,
humiliate another human?
So wait a minute. If it was New Year's Day, was that the day after you fucking gave me too many shots, got me
Yes.
drunk off my ass? I threw up for 6 hours.
Oh no, that was like a week later.
Was that no? But I felt like it was like a New Year's Eve party.
No, that was like a week later when we went to the ocean and challenged the ocean to a fight.
No, but there was a party. There was a New Year's Eve party.
Oh,
and
maybe.
where we did shots.
Oh,
I remember
darling.
Mary from Glenny. It was at Vinny's house, and Mary from Glenny nursed me back to health because I was all drunk. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, and you were having sex with somebody. I could see you like right there in the window, and I was like,
I was having sex with Vinny. It was his house. That was his
Vinny.
boyfriend.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. So then that morning, I woke up with a serious hangover. Went to Tower Records because I was working at Tower.
Young lady.
my God.
And then you did that thing to poor Robert Glamour Queen.
Well, don't just say his
Horrible
name.
thing.
Oh, but darling, it was like 12 or 13 years ago now. I'm a different person.
It was like 25, 26, 27 years ago.
It was
No, even longer.
It was
Maybe
32
30 years ago. Yeah.
Oh gosh, boy. Okay, so listen, before we get to the
We were
facts of
young.
life
It wasn't so
episode,
bad.
before
Guys,
we
we
get to
won't
the
say
facts-
what it was.
no, we're not going to because it's not a nice thing that I did.
No.
I've evolved since then.
But
darling.
you were a child then.
Yeah.
And then you hashed it out at Sun Tiang's.
Yes, we
One
sure
year.
did. We
did
sure
have
did. As grown-ups, you know, like Tamisha and Candy will one day do.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we get into the facts of life segment, I just want to talk about an experience I had this week that was exciting, disturbing, unexpected, predictable.
But wait a second, Booby, did you say what you were not featuring?
Yes, intestinal worms.
Oh,
How could you forget?
yes.
Okay, so I'm up here in Hickory Farms nowhere, and a
That's
workman had to come to the house to do repairs. Let's just say a carpenter. Okay, we'll just go with that. And I went outside to meet him when he pulled up in his truck, and immediately I could see the hostility in his ice blue eyes. He was passive aggressive. He was a born again Christian. He smelled like dried sweat. He was 71. I planned to seduce him. So I thought he was going to be here for like an hour, and he was here for like 5 hours. Okay. By which point my Adderall was really wearing off. So he was being all bossy, all passive aggressive, trying to make me his bitch, do this, do that, carry this, carry that. I said, oh, praise Jesus. At one point I said, well, Jesus Christ. Oh, no offense. He was like, I don't take offense. Jesus wouldn't either. I was like, okay. So then the next day, the problem was not resolved. He had to come back. I says, oh, okay. Well then, honey,
Let me pop another Adderall.
No. I
I
had coffee, try to keep my shit correct. Dab on a little bit of my Lily of the Valley cloud. Girl, do you know by the end of that day, he had revealed to me that he was bisexual. Okay. He was asking me all these personal questions about me and my life. And am I getting any? And this, that, and the other one. I says, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. And that he had a struggle with opiates. So I'm looking around like this stale smelling, over the hill, Bible thumping junkie. I don't know why I sucked that
I'm
dick,
gonna
bitch.
do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I didn't do it, but I will say it really brought into focus how sad my life is right now. But that was the most exciting thing of my week.
Well, you said he was like in his 70s, right?
71, darling. Oh, and there's more.
But if he had been like 61 and still maybe serving a little body.
Well, the body was okay. I mean, he was a workman. The body was all right. And he did have them icy, hostile eyes. But he also told me, girl, Matinga, you're going to know who I'm talking about. He had dated Neverly, the old lady that suns herself naked out on the rock.
Ooh, Neverly.
So I was like, yo, I got to get out of here, girl.
Wait a minute.
What?
He was with this old lady?
Yes.
Biblically?
This rich naked old lady who suns herself out on a rock like a frog up in that town up there.
An old lady that I don't particularly like.
You do not want to drive by the river while she's sunning that naked puntanya up on that rock.
So the river runs dry, bitch.
Girl,
I'll walk on water to escape. No.
Honey, you've heard of a river runs through it? Honey, this river ran away from it.
Girl. So I'm like, so these are my options, okay? The Bible thumping junkie who smells like sweat, the hearing impaired guy with Down syndrome that works at the market, okay? Or the random guys behind the dumpster at Piggly Wiggly. Why, Lord Jesus? Why?
Well, girl, you got more options than I do, and I live in Brooklyn.
Go outside, bitch.
So somehow you got more options.
Miss Booby, you think your cat has fucking intestinal parasites? Check me out in a week. Catch me outside. Anyway, the point is, he'll never see this, so there's still a chance, girl. Okay. Anyway, so why don't let's do the segment that we like to call Just the Facts.
Remember that episode of Facts of Life when Mrs. Garrett got caught stealing?
Just the facts.
And this is where we discuss an episode of the classic 1980s sitcom, The Facts of Life. Are you guys excited? Because I know I am.
That's correct. And this week, we're going to discuss Season 1, Episode 9, Flash Flood, in which Natalie gets her first period.
Oh, yes.
I swear to God, I was like, God, let it be about one of them getting their first period, but it wasn't.
Well, let's just say things were real moist in this episode.
Things got wet. Things got soaked.
In a nutshell, what's happening up at Eastland is that there's a flood and
flash flood.
There's a flash flood.
But we open with a weird sort of like
cold opening.
With a cold opening, which is very not typical of the show of Molly Ringwald.
I was going to show that guy my cold opening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, talk about cold openings, honey.
Bitch.
Cold, dead openings of Molly Ringwald and Mrs. Garrett discussing the sexiness of Tom Brokaw, but it's like it has
Dan
nothing
Rather.
to do-
Dan Rather, bitch.
and it has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. It's like 30
Actually,
seconds.
No, it does. I think what it's setting up is
The older.
the older man, younger woman trope.
Right.
Because Dan
Oh,
Rather's
okay,
like
okay.
right, Dan Rather's like 55, and 11-year-old Molly Ringwald is having a flash flood about him. Okay.
Oh, that's
But Tom Brokaw was actually hot. I would have hit that, but he's dead now. So yeah, so the whole episode is about there's a flood coming, or there's a rainstorm a coming, and the bitches at Eastland are gagging. So that's basically what it's really about. Is about older man, younger woman.
Younger lady.
And I picked this episode, and one of the reasons I picked it is because it's one of the few episodes with Mr. Bradley
Wearing just a t-shirt.
wearing just like a wife beater, because Mr. Bradley disappears sometime soon. Like
Yes, Master Bradley.
by season 2, he's gone, right?
No, I think they pare down the girls all the way through season 2, and like by season 3, we're kind of down to the core. But even next season, they're still at the house. You know?
Because remember in the first few episodes, there was that lady with the real tight curly perm, and now but she's gone. So
honey, there's still a lot of girls. Like I counted, there's girls in this episode.
Right.
It's all girls.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? It's sort of like for an episode like this, where it's like there's kind of a little bit of danger afoot, and they've got to work together. It kind of worked having a big cast.
Right.
It worked against them most of the time, but
Right.
in this episode, it did work for them.
but the biggest roles go to Blair
Blair.
and Tootie in this episode.
Blair, Tootie, and Nancy and Sue Ann.
They get lines, but
Yeah.
not really. So what happened?
And Mrs. Garrett and
Mr. Bradley, headmaster, bitch, I'll show you a headmaster, motherfucker.
So there is a flood in Peekskill, New York. It's getting worse and worse. It's been raining for days. And the gist of the episode is, Headmaster Bradley comes in. He's like, listen, we're shut down. Nobody leave the house, blah, 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 blah. And Tootie and Blair are worried for their
animals.
Their animals, a pony and 2 rabbits up by the stables.
Chestnut.
Now and they say up by the stables. I don't understand how the stables are going to flood faster if the stables are up somewhere, but whatever. Anyway, but they can't go get them. Both Mrs. Garrett and Mr. Bradley say, listen, I'll go get the animals, but
y'all stay here.
Y'all stay here. But the situation gets worse. And of course, Blair and Tootie make the boneheaded decision to go and try and save their animals while Mrs. Garrett is downstairs trying to fix the floodlights in the basement or whatever it's going on.
Yeah, but in their defense, like if my animal was in the stables,
I would go.
I would get my motherfucking animal, honey. Fuck you, Mrs.
Yes.
Garrett. I'm going.
I would need an assurance that like my animal's going to be safe, or I'd be like, listen.
But that's what they were going through. Blair was worried about Chestnut, her horse, and Tootie was worried about her rabbits. So they went off and took their little road show of Ebony and Ivory off to the stables. Okay.
And then another stupid moment is, you know what, Tootie, I get it that the trope of your character, Kim, is that you're always wearing your roller skates. Bitch, you're going to a stable filled with hay. Take your roller skates off. If there's a flood out there, take your skates off, babe.
Because they're going to rust.
Well, because can you imagine you're in a flood wearing roller skates?
But she couldn't take them off because Kim Fields at that point was like 3 feet tall. That's why they had her in skates.
Right. And also they hadn't budgeted shoes for her yet. So they were like, there was nothing for her to wear.
Right,
So right. Barefoot.
So Blair and Tootie run off to the stables, but not before making the other girls lie for them.
Right.
Blair's like, oh, tell them I'm studying. And Tootie's like, tell them I'm taking a shower.
A long shower.
And then horny ass Roger, who's dating, is he dating Nancy?
Nancy.
I don't think you ever see Roger, but
don't.
Roger's always up in the mix. He's
Yeah.
he's trying to get to her in the middle of a flood
To bring her
he's
a
hit it-
raincoat?
Yeah, and he's hit it in the back seat. He has hit it in the
And you
shitter.
don't mean the backseat of his car.
Honey, he hit her in the shitter, lovely, in the back seat of that car for sure. Because they're always like, Nancy, was it the front seat or the back seat? And she's like,
She's like, well, I'm prolapsed. So what do you think? Yeah, she's kind of a hoe bag.
right, Booby, you laugh because it's true.
Yeah.
She's kind of a hoe bag. So they're in the stables, Blair and Tootie, checking on their animals, Chestnut and Romeo and Juliet. And Blair gags because the bridge washes out.
Right. Well,
By the way, Lisa Welcher with her gorgeous hair.
Yeah.
And all she's doing is hugging that gorgeous pony, but she's just hugging him. They're not doing anything. She's just hugging the pony.
Well, she's comforting him.
And the water is rising quickly and eventually rises so fast that
they get trapped.
That Tootie realizes, hey, we're trapped. And they don't know what to do. Meanwhile,
so they just lay down in the hay and start scissoring.
They scissoring like crazy,
you
honey.
Take the good, you take the bad.
You talk about a flood. I just got my period. Ow.
Mama.
But, it was like the PG-13 episode. So meanwhile, back at Villa Eastland, the girls are trying to hold on to the secret, but the moment Mr. Bradley shows up, it's the secret's out. Oh, they went.
Cindy the lesbian spills it, right?
Spills it. Well, no, what happens is Mr. Bradley comes in and says the dam is broken. At which point the girls just spill it. Oh my God, Tootie and Natalie, not Tootie, Tootie and Claire are up at the stables.
Right.
You say, oh my God, I have to go get them.
Right. So then he goes to the stables. Does he walk in without his little raincoat? At what point
he walks in with the raincoat.
With the raincoat.
But then he takes it off when he's filling it with sand, the bags of sand.
And Blair's getting hysterical, and Tootie's like, slap her, slap her.
Yeah. Is this the point where you slap her like in the movies?
I will say Kim Fields and her comedic chops on display already.
She was funny. She was talking to the rabbits. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
And she ain't too worried. Like she knows she's gonna live. Meanwhile, like Blair, sees Mr. Bradley take off his shirt and suddenly, and act and be like, "Here, I'm here to rescue." And suddenly, she's like, "Mr. Bradley,
he's a man.
He's a
I see you
man
in a whole different way." And she gets all soft and kind of wet for him. And I'm like, honey, this dude takes off his shirt with his no ass,
no ass,
muscles,
no muscles.
He's just a tall, average white guy. Now, mind you, would I have sucked him off in that stable?
Yep. Yes. Picking straw out of your teeth.
Yes. And I would have felt, and afterward, I would have asked him to slap me and throw me onto a dirt pile.
Girl, please, you would have blown Chestnut the horse. Let's not bullshit around. Young lady.
But that does not mean that, honey, that you listen, he was, I don't know. Did you think he wasn't a bad looking guy, but he wasn't stunning, ladies. It wasn't stunning.
Booby, what is your opinion of Mr. Bradley?
I would do it.
Okay, I'm gonna say this.
I mean, after a year and a half in ISO, sure.
Mr. Bradley is true, had no ass, okay? But Mr. Bradley was also very fit and trim, okay?
I would say he was trim.
He was fit and trim, and true, he had no ass, and maybe the hair was thinning a little. But put yourself in their situation.
Cara.
A handsome man, and also honey, taking charge, flinging sandbags around, bitch, slapping Blair, okay.
And he did not slap Blair.
In my fantasy, he did. And
then she
also,
starts calling him by what's his first name? David?
Steven. Blair starts calling him Steven. But you have to remember, there's no men around. There's no men in Peekskill. These bitches are they're starting to peak, and they need to explore.
Honey, George Clooney is showing up in about 4 seasons. Just take a breath.
Honey, they can't wait.
Honey.
They can't wait. He's a man right there. He's a man right there.
A man right there.
Right there. In a barn. Hello.
You know what? Give me Cloris Leachman. She'll show up a little bit later. Cloris.
Rest in peace, darling.
Rest in peace, mama.
But so Tootie's yo, get us the fuck out of here. She takes her rabbits. Blair is like hugging up on him, all moist, calling him Steven, all dewy-eyed, and he's
So we're going to walk you across a raging river. The road is washed out. Tootie, do you take off your skates? No, you're on the back of a horse.
So.
He tells her to. He tells her to.
But she doesn't.
She pays it no mind.
Right. I would have been like, listen, young lady, this is not, this is not a
up
black
for debate.
But I'm telling you, take those skates off.
Mr. Bradley walks in and goes, look, I don't care for some of you girls, but I'm going to say this.
Yes, why are you looking at me?
Why are you looking at me?
Right.
So they get back to the house, whatever that house is called. And Mrs. Garrett and the girls are gagging. There's no power. There's leaks everywhere. Natalie's playing tricks on Nancy. Someone's eating popcorn. And here comes Mr. Bradley with a sprained ankle. And then him and Blair have a conversation. And she tries feeling up on his leg.
Yeah.
And it's super inappropriate. And he's like, yo, wait till nobody's around. And then there's a conversation about girls have limitations. And then Mr. Bradley becomes a representation of toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
So Molly Ringwald on her CB radio or whatever calls in the National Guard. Some actor with a very thick Brooklyn accent shows up.
And he's fucking hot. That's the man. Like, that's the one you want to have do you in the stable. Dude, that was a tall, beefy, beautiful dude. Like a these, dems, and those kind of dude.
And he was rude and stupid with a big nose. You know, he's hung like a fucking donkey.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And Suan's not sleeping on it. She's like, come back. You come back, bitch.
You come back now, here.
And because he tells the girls to evacuate. Right. Now, mind you,
they all instantly evacuate their inner juices.
All the fluids on the floor. Yeah, exactly. And then also, this is a mistake in the writing. He's like, to keep you guys safe, I'm going to evacuate you guys. Now, mind you, Eastland Academy is more than one dorm house. They've mentioned the other dorm houses. In fact, in one of the other episodes that we covered, Blair goes to smoke pot in another dorm house with those other stuck up girls.
Right.
So he's like, so there's one car. We can't possibly evacuate all the hundreds but he's like, we're going to evacuate you girls. Fuck every other girl at Eastland. They're just going to drown. But like, it was just poor writing. Like nobody thought about it.
Well, but because they were in a low-lying part of the campus.
And so
Mrs. Garrett
that's why.
Well, Mrs. Garrett asks them. Mrs. Garrett asks him, what about the other places? And he's like,
that's the boys' academy, the other academy. And he says, well, those are kind of like, they're doing okay. They're bagging. And she said, we can do that too. We can we can keep our house from flooding, And so they take it upon themselves to go against Mr. Bradley's wishes, and they send him to the hospital, and they decide to save their own house, being smart, empowered, powerful women.
Even though Mr. Bradley, in an act of toxic masculinity, says that women have limitations, which snaps Blair out of her fugue state. And she's like, you know what? You a whack-ass old white man with no ass. Get the fuck out.
Besides, this National Guard guy just came in. Not only is he going to help us dig, he going to dig my back out too when we done.
Honey, bitch, I'll show you my sandbags, honey. You take the good, you take the bad.
They should have done that in RuPaul. Sandbags.
Honey, my basement's flooded. What? Yes. So that is the episode called Flash Flood.
And right at the end, Natalie comes running downstairs. She's like, oh my God, guys, I'm bleeding from down there.
Oh, popcorn?
Popcorn?
No, I think the last line is Mrs. Garrett giving orders and tells Blair to get a plunger. And Blair's like, what's a plunger?
She's like, Natalie, there's no time. Just get a pillow.
Right. She's like, what's a plunger? And she pulls out, they call this dildo the Eastland. Boof, plunge. So
and then Miss Garrett pulls out a rather high kick.
And
the nice high kick
in the butt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I noticed about Mrs. Garrett in this episode? She's wearing a little charm on a necklace that is the emblem of the More You Know NBC logo.
No.
It's a star with it's a star with
a
little, but it's all gold. Branding. The more you know. The more you know. Well, that is the Facts of Life episode called Flash Flood.
Scintillating. Absolutely. Honey, it left me sopping wet.
Scintillating.
I would have done Mr. Bradley.
I drowned the dog.
What? No dog.
You mean the bunny?
You just found a dog and drowned it just because.
I just found it and drowned it out of spite.
Yes, yes. Well, speaking of spite, we want to thank everyone for listening today. Do we have any other business we want to get to before we get to it? Okay, well, then I'll say this.
Yeah.
I don't know if Robina is watching this, but Miss Robina had suggested that we do some playlists of music that we talk about and that we like. So we are working on two playlists.
That's correct.
80s music and 90s music, and that will be on Spotify.
And so far, both of them are hot.
Absolutely. Hot. And we have merch and Patreon and other projects and Star Trek podcasts and videos and all kinds of wonderful things like that. Am I right or am I right?
You're so right.
You're so right. Do you
You're
guys
all
even?
right.
I'm all right. I'm all right now. What is that from? Oh
I'm
God!
all right now.
Oh, that's from that
Female Trouble.
No, that's Matinga in that film project Criminal Minded that we never finished.
Oh,
I'm all right now.
I thought you meant when it's Taffy having the car accident. I'm all right, but
my friend's dead. I think ketchup and glass all over my fine furniture. So good, absolutely so good. Would you guys like to add anything before we wrap this up?
Matinga?
No.
It's an open forum.
Honey, and listen, if I were any more open, stuff would be falling out.
A forearm would fall out.
A forearm would fall. Honey, a forearm has
fall.
Oh. Okay, we're going to end it right there. Thank you for listening to So Auntieways. What?
We
want to thank.
If you log us off, we'll be able to talk.
No, I'm not logging us off. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap it up. So all y'all that are on the side in the comments section during this live recording, which is a benefit for patrons only, hang out. Don't go anywhere.
Hang out for a second.
Now, Blair, did anyone want to say something?
I was just going to say, but did we want to thank individual names for being here? Like
we
Donna
will,
and Linda
we will, but people listening don't want to hear that nonsense. They just want to hear us talk about forearms falling out of our bungholes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to So Auntieways.
Yes. The best little podcast in the motherfucking West. Well, this is the East. The best little podcast in the East. Honey. The most wicked little podcast in the East.
I'm just going to put my head down and cry.
Okay.
How many days have I said that?
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
Oh my God, you guys, you have no timing. And I'm the Caucasoid here.
The Caucasoid?
That's what they call me, girl.
Kakigori?
Kakigori, darling. I think I'm Fico-Japanese. Okay, look, we're gonna like end this on an up note with some rhythm. All right, some rhythm. So Auntieways. Okay.
So Auntieways.
So Auntieways.
Oh God, goodbye.
Auntieways.